Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the sonnets, and today we have sonnet 118, which says, like as to make our appetites more keen, with eager compounds we our palate urge, as to prevent our maladies unseen, we sicken to shun sickness when we purge. Even so, being full of your ne'er cloying sweetness, to bitter sauces did I frame my feeding, and sick of welfare, found a kind of meetness to be diseased, ere that there was true needing. Thus policy and love, to anticipate the ills that were not, grew to faults assured, and brought to medicine a healthful state, which, rank of goodness, would by ill be cured. But thence I learn and find the lesson true, drugs poison him that so fell sick of you. So this is an interesting one. This is a very interesting one to me because it starts out with a little bit of a too much of a good thing type vibe. In the first couple lines, he's like, the same way that we try to make ourselves more hungry by having appetite or by having appetizers, or when we feel ourselves getting sick, we might make ourselves sicker to try to prevent being sick, if you want to think of it as like having your stomach pumped or vomiting the poison up before it overtakes you, or the treatment of leeches that they used to do. He's like, the same as we do these things, I was so consumed by how awesome you are, I went to go find bad things to offset that. Like, you were so sweet, I went out looking for bitter, and I kind of enjoyed that. I sort of made a policy or a habit out of finding these bad things and making myself sick when I didn't need to be sick. And he's like, but this became a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, and I was seeking out medicines for ills that I didn't have yet. And the only way that I was then able to fix these things was by taking more of other medicines, because if you take too much medicine when you don't need it, then that also makes you sick. He finishes with what I learned from this is that a person can poison themselves trying to cure the non-illness that they have, and this illness that he's talking about is love for the listener or the fair youth from the perspective of Shakespeare or the speaker. So to me, it's an interesting one, taking things even farther than it has been. Like, he's already admitted to some sort of wrongdoing, some sort of betrayal, some sort of wandering, all that sort of thing. But here he's almost throwing that back on the fair youth, saying, blaming the victim, so to speak. He's saying, I went and I did these things to offset how awesome you are. But in the end, I ended up poisoning myself in trying to cure myself of this awesome thing that we had. I don't know. To me, this one is kind of fascinating and twisted and backhanded and full of weird sorts of compliments and comments. He talks about your never cloying sweetness, but is he being sarcastic in that? Is he saying I was so overwhelmed by your sweetness that I had to go and find something bitter to offset it? It's just, yeah, I don't know. This one to me just has a different tone than the ones came before. It's the backhanded apology sonnet, this sonnet 118. So we'll see where sonnet 119 goes tomorrow. I'll see you then. Mwah.